Let's take it back from the beginning. We hooked up. We did, Howie. I don't know what to tell you. And then what happens? I think we came out to do your show. What show was that? With
you did Deal With It.
Theo Vaughn?
Yeah, with Theo Vaughn was the host of Deal With It. It was on TBS for 3 years, and you were nice enough to come out and do one of the pranks with us.
Oh,
but I was before that, and that's what he told you when he saw you at VidCon. I was a big fan of your pranks online. I thought of you as just a prankster. But you're so much more.
I'm so much more. Explain to my viewers
that you're so much more.
Tell the people listening. No, yes, we got to work together there, which was an honor for me. Like going.
No, it was an honor for me. I've always been. I got to tell you something. I've been doing television. This is something that I'll probably say again on my podcast, but I want to tell you anyway, as much as I could tell you. You know, somebody who's been doing television for over 45 years now. I've been on television. Mostly. I've done some other things too, but mostly people know me from television. And my son, Alex, right here, got me fascinated in this world of digital, of YouTube. And the first person that he had shown me that I got to know and I got to watch and be a fan of more than anything I was watching on television was you.
That's awesome, man.
There was. And I saw this coming. And the reason that we're in this building right now is because of those beginnings. Because I had a traditional kind of upbringing in show business, and I had a big deal at Universal, and I used to have an office at Universal Studios for like 7 years. And then I left that because I wanted to do things that were not just traditional, they wanted me to produce and come up with ideas for linear television, normal old people stuff. And I felt like I was throwing, I always use this analogy, but, if you throw a party, if your parents go out of town and you throw a party, you probably have one of the best parties you'll ever have. But if your parents say...
He doesn't know about that?
No, there has been some stories, right?
There's some fantastic stories.
I will tell that story.
That's a good one.
Okay. But if your parents say, you can have your friends over and throw a party, it's never as much fun, right? And that's what it was like working at Universal. So I came here and bought this building, and this is just where my friends, my family, my son built out my whole studio here and taught me about podcasting, showed me YouTube, TikTok, put me on TikTok, put me on Instagram. And this world is so much more interesting, so much more engaging, so much more, it's so much more, what's the word that I'm, creative than television.
Yeah, and you also own it all.
And you can make a lot of money. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it feels, I'm not from TV, but it feels like you're more tied in with other owners versus YouTube and TikTok. It's yours.
You make your own
it's your
decision.
baby. It's your freedom.
Yeah, there's that. But you know what? That's even the last, at this point in my life, you're right. You should own your own IP and you should be in control of whatever is out there. But even more than that, the creativity that you can do here and now is so much more than you can do in traditional television. Like even what you're doing right now, even this podcast. If I had, and I did at one time, I had a talk show. So I would be held to talk to you in 5 or 6 minute clips, or you would have to talk to me in 5 or 6 minute clips, and then we'd have to throw to a commercial. Not that they're not any, do you have sponsors, right?
Yeah. Ad reads?
Yeah. But you have ad reads, but you can put them any place you want within a certain, but the point is that I knew, like when I'm doing talk shows, have you done talk? No. Mm-mm. So in going and doing a talk show, they'll say you're going to be on for 2 segments. You have 6-minute segment followed by a 4-minute segment. And then there's a producer that will call me the day before to ask me the questions that are going to be asked, or what do you have stories for? So it's not really a conversation like you and I are having. And if it's not really a conversation, then it's not creative.
There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect.
There totally is.
Well, that was what we were talking about too. When early in the beginning, you were very interested in like TV production or movie production, and I watched him. And every time he would come out with a show or do anything like that, we'd watch it, and he's like, "This isn't what I created. Like they ruined it." And you have these people that are not the creatives, making the decisions on what they should do creatively. And then he, even at that time, envied people like you who are doing those pranks and have no one telling them that they can or cannot do that.
But
And you were able to do that.
even
Yeah.
the fact that you and I are sitting talking to Roman and Brittany, we're just having a conversation. Nobody, we didn't have in fact, it's the opposite. I came in and said, "How you doing?" He goes, "I don't want to tell you now. We'll talk later on camera." But that makes it real. This is a real conversation. I'm not repeating things that we already talked about 10 minutes ago. He's not telling me to tell a story because he thinks it would. Well, you want me to tell a story? It'd be great.
I'm about to get to that.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
very natural, which makes it
Just
relatable,
hanging
which
out.
makes it engageable. And if anybody's interested in hearing anything me or my son have to say, then they'll click on it. But they're clicking here because they like you guys. And
There's a
then-
chance.